your Fighting Saints. Let's meet the starting line first for the visitors from Roosevelt. Number 4, Megan Smith. Number 9, Myra Diaz. Number 10, Marcelo Rodriguez. Number 11, Ashley Cappuccio. Number 12, Gabby Christitas. Number 16, Anani Serta. Number 18, Alexis Gonzalez. Number 23, Lola Ariola. Number 24, Amarvani Nieto. Number 27, Julia Silva. And in goal, number 51, Gabby Ariana Hernandez. And coach of Roosevelt is Tom Cox. And here's the starting lineup for your Fighting Saints. In goal, number 0, Yadira Estrada. Number 5, Emily Galvin. Number 10, Alexis Marquin. Number 12, Claudia Fernandez. Number 15, Missy Mendez. Number 16, Allison Shaw. Number 19, Lindsay Corona. Number 20, Natalie Salgado. Number 21, Lauren McCalston. Number 27, Grace Giallo. And number 32, Kelly Pietrowski. The coach of the Saints is Al Clark. At this time, we ask all that are able to please rise. Kindly remove your caps and face the flag as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Good afternoon from Joliet, Illinois, and Joliet Memorial Stadium on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. It's St. Francis soccer today, a doubleheader as the University of St. Francis takes on Roosevelt University, with the women's game starting things off. A couple of very good CCAC teams today, the Fighting Saints and the Lakers. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's game as the Saints try to bounce back from their first loss of the season. They took a 1-0 defeat at Holy Cross earlier this week, but they return home today for the first time since they beat Indiana South Bend here 11-0 back on September the 14th, and they're ready to get back in the wins column. Not only was it their first loss of the season earlier this week, it was the first time this year that they allowed a goal, so they'll try to get back on the shutout track today, but it'll be a tough task against a very good Roosevelt team who comes in with a 5-3 record overall. Both of these teams have just one conference loss in their first 3 matches this year. St. Francis takes the field wearing white. They'll be going from left to right here in the first half. They're shooting into the south goal. And Roosevelt is in black and white. They are on the right side, going to the left side during the first 45 minutes of today's game, shooting into the north goal. It is St. Francis getting the opening kick. and sending it away off towards the sideline, headed out of bounds by Roosevelt. St. Francis gets the throw in from the far side of the field, and they set things up as they look to mount an offensive attack early in this game. We'll take a look at the starters in today's game in just a moment as Claudia Hernandez sends it towards the back line and out of bounds for a goal kick. St. Francis has Emily Galvin, Alexis Mariquin, Claudia Hernandez, Litzy Mendez, Allison Shar, Litzy Corona, Natalie Salgado, Lauren Pekulski, Grace Giallo, and Kelly Piotrowski in their starting 10 with the goalkeeper Yadira Estrada. Estrada has started 7 times this year. She's allowed just 1 goal. She's made 8 saves, an .889 percentage. And this is her attempt at a 5th win this year. She does have 3 shutouts as a starter, 2 combined shutouts with the backup Ellie Provo. Roosevelt moves it into the attacking zone for the first time today, deflected off towards the sideline and out of bounds. The Lakers will get a throw in from just across midfield. The starting lineup today for Tom Chop's Roosevelt Lakers includes Megan Smith, the UIC transfer, with Mayeri Diaz, Marabella Rodriguez, Ashley Capatillo, Gabby Christides, Anais Serta, Alexis Gonzalez, Lola Areola, Marubeni Nieto, Julie Silka, and in that, Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Aguinaga Hernandez is starting for the 8th time this season out of the 9 games played by Roosevelt this year. She's appeared in all games. She's allowed 12 goals, 1.5 per contest. She's made 45 saves, a .789 percentage. And she's got 3 shutouts this year as well. Free kick towards the sideline for the defender Kelly Piotrowski. The senior for St. Francis sends it across field. Alexis Mariquin sets it up for the Fighting Saints. Lost pretty quickly there. It's cleared by Marubeni Nieto. Off to the sideline. A throw in for St. Francis. Just over 2 minutes into the action today. St. Francis looking to pick up their 6th win of the year. Both of these teams looking for win number 6 this season. As the Fighting Saints send it along the far sideline. Allison Shar tries to track it down. Does not work out for the Fighting Saints as the flag went up. And so a free kick here for Roosevelt. Roosevelt's under Tom Chop for the 2nd year, and they were able to turn their program into a CCAC contender very quickly these last couple of years after the merger with Robert Morris. Robert Morris has been a soccer powerhouse in the CCAC for many years, and most of the players from that team joined the Lakers team last year, now in their 2nd season with Roosevelt. The Lakers trying to get something going here, but good defense by the Fighting Saints. Piotrowski deflects it twice. Another chance here for Roosevelt. And that chance is lost back to midfield. Rolled forward past the foot of the intended target towards the sideline and intercepted by St. Francis, who are able to clear it off towards midfield. Quickly going back the other way. It is lost out of bounds by Julie Silka. And that sets up a throw in for the Fighting Saints down across midfield. Silka tries to push it back the other way, but it's intercepted by Litzy Mendez. Mendez battling for the ball, knocks it out of bounds. It's last touched by Roosevelt. Another run from Mendez here, and Silka again steps in and pushes it out of bounds. So the Saints continue to progress down this near sideline as Lauren Pekulski gets it into Mendez. Mendez working tough against the defense. They're able to get it to the edge of the box where it's cleared the other way by Roosevelt. There's another touch by Mendez for the Fighting Saints. Over the head of Shar. Into the box and sent away by the Lakers. Saints get it back on the far side now. Mariquin pushed ahead and out of bounds. Tossed in by Roosevelt on a couple of bounces. It's played off the right foot of Emily Galvin. Galvin, the freshman defender for the Fighting Saints. They reverse field now on Lauren Pekulski's side. Pekulski makes a couple of nice dribbles to get around one defender. The second defender steps in and knocks it out of bounds off Pekulski's foot. pushed in and headed out of bounds once again. Saints trying to get the first scoring chance of the game here. Neither team has yet taken a shot. There's a little collision between Silka of Roosevelt and Corona of St. Francis. And the ball ends up drifting out of bounds for a Roosevelt goal kick. Litzy Corona, the leading goal scorer for the Fighting Saints this year. She's got 9 of them. Also has 3 assists, good for 21 total points. Big offensive start to this season for St. Francis, but mostly it's come in 3 games. The ball is sent back into the box where Yadira Estrada controls it off of her leg, elects not to pick it up, and sends it down the middle of the field where it's intercepted by Roosevelt. Here come the Lakers. There's a shot from long range. Estrada makes her way to her right and makes the save. Nice play by Yadira Estrada, halting that shot. First attempt we've seen today. Ashley Capetillo took that one from about 30 yards out. And so Estrada did have time to react, and she read it the whole way. Able to make a nice save. That's her 9th save of the season, the 14th time this year that a St. Francis goalkeeper has had to make a save. Only the 15th shot on goal against the Fighting Saints this year, here in their 7th game. So the offense has been good for the Fighting Saints. The defense has been arguably even better. They've outscored their opponents 32-1 so far on the season. Like I said, though, the vast majority of that offense came in half of their games. At Cleary in the season opener back on Saturday, August 28th. And then back-to-back matches just a couple of weeks ago against Indiana South Bend on September 14th and at Indiana Northwest last weekend. They won back-to-back games by a combined 21-0 as that free kick sent into the box bounces over the net. That was almost trouble right there for the goalkeeper, Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. She stepped up on it as the ball came in and sort of played it in between. And the ball bounced awkwardly over her head, but fortunately for Roosevelt, it was just a little bit too high to fall into the net. It hits just above the crossbar. And so the game remains scoreless after we went about 6.5 minutes or so without any shots. Now back-to-back good chances, one for each team. Estrada made a save for St. Francis, and Roosevelt got a good bounce to avoid allowing their first goal of the night, or of the afternoon, I should say. It's Allison Shar down in the corner trying to set something up towards the middle of the field, and instead she dribbles it out of bounds. Another goal kick for Roosevelt. Allison Shar is the team's assist leader this year with 6 of them. So she has been good at setting up the offense. That time, though, nothing doing. The Lakers will get a free chance to send it away. After scoring 21 goals over a 2-game stretch, the Saints were held scoreless for the first time this year at Holy Cross. That game played on Wednesday of this week. They look to get off the schneid here, moving forward, but pushing it out of bounds along the back line for another goal kick. Obviously, they've dominated the weaker competition they've played, and that's what you ask any good team to do. When you have a clear advantage, take care of business. They have this year, winning 3 of their 6 games on the season by a combined 30-0, with at least 9 goals in each one of those games. Pekalski chases it back. She turns it towards the sideline, an awkward touch, and now a chance for Roosevelt. Pekalski jumps in and knocks it out of bounds. We'll get a corner kick. Looked like Pekalski was kind of torn about what to do there instead of just sending it back to the goalkeeper Estrada and allowing her to knock it downfield. She turned and gave kind of a half-hearted touch towards the sideline. And that allowed Marbella Rodriguez to get in her way and take the ball away, and that sets up the corner kick. Corner kick is played short, bounces in front of the net, and is knocked away by St. Francis. So that chance goes nowhere for Roosevelt, but they got another one here as it's chipped towards the box. Knocked away again by the defense, and cleared by Pekalski ahead to Mendez. Litzy Mendez tries to control it for St. Francis, and she does. Good individual run here for Mendez as she tries to roll it through on the far side. and she is not quite going to be able to hook up over there with Alexis Mariquin. The ball out a little bit too far in front of Mariquin. It goes out of bounds. So a goal kick for Roosevelt. Action has picked up these last few minutes as both teams now have had a few opportunities to score after a slow start. Just the first few minutes were slow as the two teams were feeling each other out. Now a little bit of a collision on the Roosevelt offensive side of the field. Pekalski tries to clear it, deflected by Rodriguez and sent back away by the Fighting Saints defense. A nice Serta to the right side, intercepted. Taken by the Fighting Saints. Towards the sideline, Mendez tries to keep it in bounds, unable to. She was able to get her foot on the ball, but not able to deflect it back onto the field of play. It ends up drifting out the sideline. Throw in for Roosevelt. St. Francis tries to battle, get it back 3-on-1. And the three would have won, but there was a little bit of a push there from Mendez. So a foul called on the Fighting Saints. Free kick here for Roosevelt. 5 yards shy of midfield. We're scoreless early on in this Saturday afternoon conference matchup between the Fighting Saints and the Lakers. Two teams both on the rise in the CCAC. Both teams have become conference contenders early this year, though we are very early in the season. Just the fourth conference matchup for both of these teams, who have each gone 2-1 so far. Mendez, nice ball work to get between three defenders. She gets it ahead to Claudia Hernandez, and Hernandez has the ball tackled off of her foot out of bounds. Lauren Pekalski will get the throw in. She drops it off for Kelly Piotrowski instead. That's going to be a free kick. The whistle blew for a foul rather than the out of bounds play. So Piotrowski sends this ball away to the left side of the field. Goes under the foot of the first defender that steps in on that ball for Roosevelt. Down towards the back end of the field, and it does go out of bounds. Litzy Corona tried to save it. Not able to do so. So it's another goal kick. Roosevelt's had a lot of goal kicks early in this game. That's typically good for a team like St. Francis. It means they've had the ball on this side of the field a lot. Lakers are trying to clear it. But the Saints have kept the attack on strong early on as Mendez battles for this ball and wins it. Nice work by Litzy Mendez. Pekalski down the sideline looking for Litzy Corona, and Corona was offsides. The Lakers get the free kick here from the edge of the penalty box. Good game so far, scoreless. Just about 13.5 minutes in. Two teams that have been good to start the year. Fighting Saints, as I said, have done the vast majority of their damage in just 3 games this year, but still, they're averaging a little over 5 goals per contest. It doesn't really matter who your competition is. That's impressive. Roosevelt is averaging right around 3 goals per contest. Not as eye-popping as the Saints number, but it's still a very good total early this season. They've got a +9 goal differential so far this year. Trying to make it +10 for the season as they look to strike right here. Pekalski is able to knock that ball away, and Yadira Estrada can't chase it down to keep it in bounds. So it's out for a corner kick. And an opportunity on the set piece here for Roosevelt, but nice defense just the same by Lauren Pekalski to prevent an easy run on the net. Two Lakers down there. Gabby Christidis stands right near the corner, and she receives the pass. The shot is deflected back towards St. Francis's way. Claudia Hernandez tries to clear it, gets it off to Allison Shar, and Shar does clear it And now here come the Saints on the counterattack. It's Litzy Corona who is offsides. Corona dancing with the defense of Roosevelt all the way down the line there, trying to at least hold that line. And she just kept drifting further and further away from the defense and was clearly past Roosevelt's back line when that pass was sent her way. And so flag went up, and the kick goes away for Roosevelt. On one hop, it's deflected back into the attacking third of the field for the Lakers. Not able to gain control of the ball so far, though, as it goes out of bounds, last touched by St. Francis. The majority of the game in this first half has been played on the other side of the field, which means that St. Francis has had more possession than Roosevelt so far, but the Lakers have been able to generate a few good quick chances. Long ball sent towards Mendez. Mendez trying to win the race to this one. It's 1 against 2 here. Who gets there first? It's Roosevelt. It looked like Silka who knocked it off of Mendez's foot out of bounds. That ball just a little bit too hot for Mendez. Good run, but the Lakers were able to get there first. Still good positioning for St. Francis here down in the corner. A throw in for Lauren Pekalski. Pekalski's throw is headed away. Claudia Hernandez in the box. Can't get her foot on it. And it's knocked downfield by the Lakers. Saints get it back. And it's kicked away. Schar's pass is intercepted. Piotrowski sets it up. A high looper into the box for Litzy Corona. Corona trying to set up a shot, but not able to get a clean one off as the ball bounces into the hands of the goalkeeper, Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Litzy Corona with 9 goals this season. Near the tops in the nation, more than a goal scored per game for her. She ranks 2nd in the nation in shots taken, but hasn't gotten anything going yet so far today. The Saints have been limited in terms of the number of shots they've been able to get off, as the Saints are called for a foul on a trip right there. Free kick for the Lakers. Julie Silka, 5 foot 10 inches tall, tied for the tallest player on the Roosevelt roster. Boots that ball down the middle of the field, headed into the box, knocked away by St. Francis and cleared. Good defense by the Saints. Lakers get it back, try to set up another attack. A long shot, well wide to the right. That shot taken from over 30 yards out by Marbella Rodriguez. Wasn't able to get a lot on it. Certainly wasn't able to direct it the way that she wanted it to. Well wide to the right. And it sets up a goal kick for St. Francis, taken by their keeper, Yadira Estrada. Down the far sideline, this ball trickles all the way out of bounds. Far side of the field, it's Natalie Salgado. Salgado has the ball taken away from her out of bounds, so she'll throw it back in. Schar is tripped up, and the whistle blows. Free kick for St. Francis from just at the edge of the box there. Good position for the Fighting Saints. They're close to the sideline, but less than 20 yards out in terms of north-south positioning here. Mendez will take the kick. Sent right in front of the net and a little bit past everybody's reach. Goes to the back corner and chased down by Piotrowski, who will try to set something up again. Knocked away out of bounds. Good defense by Roosevelt that time. Free kick looked like it might generate a chance for St. Francis, but they were not able to make good contact with it after the initial kick. Here's a cross from Schar, and it's picked off by Aguinaga Hernandez. So the chance comes up empty for the Fighting Saints. And the punt from Roosevelt sends it back towards the midfield circle. Now the Lakers are on the move. A big kick from long range and played easily on a bounce by Yadira Estrada. Alondra Areola took that shot and didn't get a lot on it. That's kind of what we've seen so far in this game from Roosevelt. They've taken more shots than the Fighting Saints, but they haven't been good shots. Most of them from way outside. That one over 35 yards out. And so Estrada has really had an easy time securing saves, as the trip right there against Roosevelt leads to a whistle and a foul called. Free kick coming up. A foul committed by Lola Areola. Piotrowski takes the free kick into the box, knocked away by the Lakers and cleared. Here's Piotrowski on the back end, trying to set something up going forward again, looking for Corona. Corona, nice job tackling Diaz off that ball towards the sideline. Allison Shar tries to track it down, but Silka gets in front of her and knocks it to the sideline out of bounds. Throw in here from near the corner for St. Francis. Pekulski puts it back in play. There's Shar's cross, and there's Aguinaga Hernandez stepping in and making the play. So more of the same these last few minutes. St. Francis has had more time on the attack today when the Fighting Saints have had the ball. They haven't been able to do a lot with their opportunities. Been trying to set up closer shots than the ones that Roosevelt has gotten. The Lakers have kind of settled for long range chances that haven't gone anywhere. Here's another one. So Estrada again makes an easy save. That shot from Christides. But they really have not made much of an effort on this Roosevelt side to get in close and try to get a high percentage shot off. That one again nearly bounced over Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez's head, but she was able to back up and play it cleanly, reaching her hands up over her head to pull that ball in. So no attack that time from St. Francis. Roosevelt gets it right back. This is Areola pushing towards the sideline, now upfield, looking for Megan Smith. Intercepted. The Saints have been working harder to get those better shots, the ones that Roosevelt has not been able to get so far. But in doing so, they haven't been able to get many shots off at all. Just one so far. One legitimate shot from St. Francis. And Aguinaga Hernandez has been involved a little bit, but she has not yet been asked to make a save as Roosevelt gets the free kick here. It's a little over halfway through this first half. The kick goes into the box, headed up into the air, and Estrada is there to pick it off. This time a soft punt from Estrada, played by the Lakers and pushed back into their attacking side of the field. Down towards the sideline. Battle for the ball won by Salgado, but maybe using illegal means. A foul is called. Ashley Capetillo battling with Salgado there. Natalie Salgado, senior defender, transfer from Morton College, called for the foul. So a free kick here. Good range for Roosevelt. They'll try to put this one in front of the net. We'll see if maybe they try to put this one on net. From a little closer than most of their shots have come from. They do go with the cross, and Pekulski hits it in the air and out of bounds for a corner kick. A miss hit there from Lauren Pekulski as she was trying to clear it the other way. Got it off the side of her foot, hit it high in the air. Unfortunately for the Fighting Saints, over the net and out of bounds. So no chance for her to challenge Yadira Estrada, but it does turn into a corner kick. Another opportunity for Roosevelt, this time from the opposite end of the field. It's their third corner kick of the game. Looks like we've got some subs coming in for both sides. Ashley Walker, Paula Macias in for Roosevelt. Corner kick never straightens out. It went behind the net and back into play. There's a shot from Roosevelt and a save on one hop by Yadira Estrada. Saints work quickly down the field, a little bit too quickly. Out in front of the pack, chased down by Julie Silka. Anna Jakubiak is in the game for St. Francis. Jakubiak playing defense on the near side. Grace Giallo down there with her. Let's see, Corona not able to gain possession at midfield, knocked away and towards the sideline by Anahi Serta. Saints are able to recover coming down the far side. There's a ball in front of the net. Mendez tries to get there before the goalkeeper Aguinaga Hernandez, but Aguinaga Hernandez does secure that ball first. I think Mendez was offsides and trying to pull that away from the goalkeeper. So under 20 minutes to play in the first half. We're still scoreless between St. Francis and Roosevelt. Not a huge surprise. Both of these teams have put up some big offensive numbers this year, but in both cases, typically against inferior competition, and against good competition, a lot of good low-scoring contests between good defenses, and with these two good defenses going head-to-head, we've not seen a ton of action so far. Roosevelt has outshot St. Francis up to now, but they have not had any good shots. Really haven't made the Fighting Saints sweat in any way. And the Saints have had more possession than Roosevelt, but they haven't been able to get any good shots off either. We'll see if that changes right here. It doesn't look like it. Trying to get it ahead to Corona, but Corona not able to pick up her momentum fast enough to get to that pass from Claudia Hernandez, and so it goes past her and out of bounds for another Roosevelt goal kick. Across midfield, nobody there in black, so the Saints clear it back the other way. Here is Allison Shar making her way into the box. Stopped, deflected back. Saints still in control. Shar will try again. The shot is in. And it's a goal for St. Francis as they strike first today. Saints take a 1-0 lead just over 28 minutes into the action. Allison Shar is able to get on the board. Shar scores her 5th goal of the year. And makes it 1-0. So Roosevelt gets the free kick here to set things up from midfield as they restart play after the goal from Allison Shar. Again, Shar's 5th goal of the year. She's got 16 points on the season now. Here comes Litzy Mendez. Knocked away in the box by Roosevelt, still trying to clear it, and they are able to do that. Good goal from Shar coming in on the left side of the net. Was able to ground it just past the diving hand of Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. And that's what happens when you keep the pressure on. St. Francis has been able to do that so far today, even though they hadn't been able to take too many shots up to that point. They've kept the ball on that side of the field. They have made Roosevelt's defense work hard, and when you do that consistently, sometimes you just need one bounce to go your way and set you up for a score, and that's exactly what they did, as Allison Shar was able to get it past Aguinaga Hernandez for her 5th goal this season. So St. Francis is on the board for the first time in their last 2 games. Remember, they were shut out in a 1-0 loss against Holy Cross on Wednesday. And after they had scored 10 goals in their previous game, in fact, they had scored 10 or more goals in back-to-back games prior to the shutout. They're able to get back on the board in the first half today, 29th minute. And now they look to extend the lead as they take control on the offensive side of the field. Again, they set up another sustained possession. Rolled along the far sideline and knocked back by Roosevelt. Saints are able to keep it on this side of the field, though. Hernandez falls to the ground. She was tripped. Foul called on the Lakers. Hernandez a little slow to get up. She's okay. She walks that one off. Piotrowski will take the free kick here. Piotrowski sends it deep into the box, and on one bounce, it goes out of bounds. And out for a goal kick. The ball did go into a net, but it wasn't the net on the field of play. The one wheeled off to the side. I don't think that's what she was aiming for, but you're looking to put the ball in the net. She's done it. Mendez intercepts the goal kick, trying to push it to the far side, and she grabbed at one of the Roosevelt players in the process. Foul called on St. Francis. Just about 14 minutes to go in the first half. Saints got their first goal, and to this point the only goal of the game, about 3 minutes ago. Here's Shar turning it upfield. Down the far side, Alexis Mariquin trying to chase this one down to the back line, and not quite fast enough to get there as it goes out for another goal kick. Roosevelt's not been able to get much on these goal kicks, though. They've not been able to clear it across midfield in a little while. Possession for the most part in this game has been won by St. Francis, but it's been dominated by the Fighting Saints over the last several minutes. Finally, we start to turn our heads to the left as Roosevelt makes a little bit of a run. No offsides there as the Saints are able to make the stop. Natalie Salgado battling down the sideline. Her pass is intercepted, sent back into the edge of the box. Now an opportunity for Roosevelt looking for a cross. This is Capetillo. Pass deflected. Sent towards the middle of the field. Takes a weird bounce and right back to the Lakers. Now a shot from way out there. Estrada watches that ball drift well over the net. I think there was Areola taking that shot, but easy stop for the Saints. Estrada was able to just crane her head upward and watch it sail about 5 feet or so over. Looks like Claire Asmus is coming in for Ashley Capetillo. On the Roosevelt side, Asmus, senior out of Temperance, Michigan, one of 2 players on the Roosevelt roster from Michigan. They've also got one from Ohio, Sam Sparks, who we have not seen today. And other than that, they're all from Illinois. So a very local game today because the Saints roster is entirely local. Here's Christidis on the run. Good ball from Christidis through to the box. Megan Smith tries to take a shot. It's deflected. She tries again. And the second one is out of bounds. Nice attempt from Megan Smith. 2 shots in a row. But the deflection from the defense marred the first one and then couldn't straighten out the second shot. It's out of bounds and a goal kick for St. Francis. Allison Shar pushes it the other way for the Fighting Saints. Along the far sideline and out of bounds, looking for Alexis Mariquin. The 2 of them not able to hook up there. It's a beautiful breezy day here in Joliet. Sun is shining, temperature in the low 70s. Wind is blowing right now at the backs of St. Francis. Cleared by Roosevelt towards the sideline. Headed back in the direction of the middle of the field. This is Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez looking to turn it upfield. and she is not able to roll it by the defense. It is deflected, though, as it goes out of bounds, so throw in for the Fighting Saints. Haley Marlaga is in for the Fighting Saints. She's played in all but one game this year for St. Francis. She comes on. Alexis Mariquin departs.
Yeah.
There's Shar trying to set something up again. Shar had the goal earlier. Looking to pass it towards the middle of the field that time, and it was sent out of bounds instead by the defense of Roosevelt. Down to the corner. Salgado gets the whistle, and we're going the other way. Thrown in by Roosevelt. Right at the edge of that sideline, and knocked right back out of bounds, so the Lakers get to move up 10 feet or so and try it again. Final 10 minutes of play here in the first half. Saints are enjoying a 1-0 lead. And the way that their defense has performed over the course of this season, one goal has typically been enough. They have won 2 games already this season by final totals of 1-0, which is not to say they're not going to try to add on. But they do have 5 shutouts and 6 chances this year, trying to make it today 6 out of 7. And so for that reason, one goal has typically been good enough for St. Francis to get a victory. 2 goals makes it a huge deficit for Roosevelt. So here's a chance for Litzy Corona to make it just that. Corona down to the back line, has to pull it out. Didn't have an angle to cut it back towards the middle. There's the cross coming from Jakubiak. Deflected, and she gets it back. The Saints got it back anyway. It was Allison Shar who tried to get it going the second time around. Didn't happen. And now here come the Lakers. Long run, Megan Smith. Smith down into the corner. Smith looking for the cross. There it is. Deflected by Piotrowski and cleared by Grace Giallo. This is Jakubiak again. Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez downfield and nobody there. It'll drift back into the box, and it's picked up there by Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. 1-0 St. Francis leads. They got a 29th minute goal from the junior Allison Shar. And they've clutched on to that 1-goal lead ever since. Roosevelt, since that point, has not been able to generate any kind of offense, looking for the equalizer. Instead, St. Francis has continued to control the pace of this game, although they lose this possession out of bounds as it's set up for a Roosevelt throw-in. Right around midfield, Saints try to turn it up, and here comes Allison Shar staying on sides, receiving this pass into the box, and she's able to get it past the goalkeeper, but it's out of bounds. Shar maybe just a little bit too fast-paced right there. She was able to control that one-on-one touch. She had an open player cutting across the middle. I think it was Corona who's coming across the middle, and a chance for a quick tap to her and maybe a second goal of the afternoon. But again, Shar was maybe just moving a little bit too fast. As Aguinaga Hernandez came in, Shar dribbled it past her. Saints wanted a corner kick, but it was, according to the officials, last touched by the St. Francis offense. So it's a goal kick, but as has been happening, goal kick doesn't go much of anywhere, and Roosevelt is back on their heels defensively again. There's a header to midfield. Now the Lakers can start their offensive attack as Megan Smith hits it towards the sideline and out of bounds. That offensive attack was very short-lived for the Lakers. Tossed back in for St. Francis. Allison Shar's pass is deflected and taken away by Gabby Christidis, but she is intercepted. This is Kelly Piotrowski. Piotrowski tracks down her own ball. And here come the Lakers. Roosevelt led down the field to the left side. Christidis back into the middle. There's another shot from over 30 yards out. High hop, and Yadira Estrada had to jump up at the last second to knock that one down as her momentum was carrying her forward, but she was able to make the stop on the shot from Anai Serta. And the Saints dodge a bullet there. To the back line, that ball goes out of bounds. Roosevelt will get a goal kick with just about 5 minutes to play in this first half. 1-0. St. Francis has the lead. Roosevelt continues to settle for long shots. And that last one nearly caused problems for Yadira Estrada as she came out on it maybe a little too fast. The ball nearly bounced over her head. But she was able to hop up and make the play with two hands, deflecting it up in the air. Abigail Arriaga is in now for the Lakers. Estrada has become the regular starter this year for St. Francis. Last season it was Ellie Provo, who this season is the backup. Estrada just 5 feet 5 inches tall. Provo 5'11". That's one area certainly where having the taller goalkeeper in would have given an advantage, but Estrada's been excellent in net this season. And that time she was able to make the stop, even as it bounced up over her head. St. Francis maintains the lead, trying to extend it before halftime. They've got just a few minutes left to pull that off. Roosevelt can't keep it in bounds. We've got a throw-in coming for St. Francis just beyond midfield, far side. Natalie Salgado holds the ball on her right side, waits for the substitution to be made before sending it in. Azuri Sanchez checks into the action as Claudia Hernandez heads to the bench. Here's Mendez. Mendez pokes it ahead looking for Shar, and it's too far out in front of her and out of bounds. Throw in for Roosevelt is deflected back towards the sideline and again rolled out. And last touch by Roosevelt before Salgado got there. It was already over the line, so Natalie Salgado gets the throw in for the Fighting Saints down that sideline. Here's Allison Shar fighting her way back towards the middle of the field. Her pass deflected. Lakers able to take control as the ball rolls loose into the middle of the field. Kelly Piotrowski trying to win it for the Saints, but the Lakers get there first. So across midfield now, Roosevelt on the attack. Smith is halted. Good defense from Emily Galvin. Here's Bartlaga. Haley Bartlaga trying to keep it in bounds, going up against Ashley Walker. And Walker finally knocks it out. Jakubiak's pass deflected out. So a throw in here for the Fighting Saints. Nope, it's going the Lakers' way this time around. So Roosevelt will get a chance here to try to mount a rally going into halftime. Looking to tie things up going into the break. But that one underneath the foot of the Lakers attacker. Now another chance for Allison Shar, but she's offsides. So Shar looking for her second goal of the match. Offsides this time. And Roosevelt will get a chance on the free kick to get it out of harm's way on this side of the field. They send it off towards the midfield circle. Controlled by the Lakers going to the far sideline, but Natalie Salgado is there to take it away. Salgado along the far side of the field. Long run for her, and finally she's forced off the ball. A good tackle. Going up against Paula Macias. And Macias knocks it out of bounds. So here's the Saints from the corner. Shar looking for the cross, deflected back to her. She'll try it again. There's the ball in front of the net. Popped up into the air by Roosevelt. Back off the right foot of Shar. and cleared by Roosevelt. And now in the final minute, the Lakers will get one last chance for a counterattack and a goal here as it's knocked out of bounds. Roosevelt's got just 35 seconds here, so do the Saints, and the Saints are the team that gets the throw in from midfield. Let's see if St. Francis can work rapidly, try to get a score before halftime. Doesn't look like they'll get a chance as it's knocked off of Azuri Sanchez and out of bounds. Deflected back towards the middle of the field. Now sent into the teeth of the Saints defense. Here's Jakubiak sending it back down the middle. We're down to our final 10 seconds now before halftime. Here's Julie Silka down the sideline and a little bit too far out in front of any of her teammates. So as that ball goes out of bounds, we have reached the end of the first half. 1-0 St. Francis has the lead. A good defensive battle between Roosevelt and St. Francis in the first half. But Allison Shar was able to break through in the 29th minute and get the Saints on the board. They carry that lead all the way to the intermission. And we take a 15-minute break here for halftime as the two teams head off to the sidelines to regroup. It is St. Francis 1, Roosevelt 0. We'll have the second half action for you in about 15 minutes. And right now, we'll sit on this 1-0 score. Back with the second half in just a little bit. Stadium as the University of St. Francis takes on Roosevelt University. It's a doubleheader of soccer action today. The men's teams will go head-to-head about a half hour after this one concludes today. Should be around 3:30 Central Time. But first the women, and so far so good. It's been a fun game up to this point. St. Francis leads Roosevelt by a score of 1-0. The lone goal came from Allison Shar in the 29th minute. She was able to poke it in from the left side, just past the outstretched arm of Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez, the goalkeeper for Roosevelt. Got a feed from Alexis Mariquin to set it up. It was Shar's 5th goal of the year. For Alexis Mariquin, it was assist number 4. And so here in the second half, the two teams have flipped sides. St. Francis in white with brown numbers and letters going from right to left. And Roosevelt in black with very difficult to read green numbers going from left to right for the second half as they take the opening kick, and we're back underway. On paper, you would think that Roosevelt probably pretty significantly outplayed St. Francis in a lot of ways in the first half. They outshot the Fighting Saints 8-3. And one of those 3 shots for the Fighting Saints actually came from their goalkeeper, Yadira Estrada, who gave a long punt. It bounced several times and eventually almost went over the head of Aguinaga Hernandez. But it was one of the closer calls of the game for Roosevelt. Roosevelt trying to give a close call to St. Francis right here. Estrada steps in and kicks it away off the foot of Natalie Salgado, sent in the wrong direction by Salgado. She heads it off towards the sideline and out of bounds. A throw in here for Roosevelt. Lakers trying to tie things up. Saints are able to knock it away. Mariquin not able to clear as that one goes under the foot of Claudia Hernandez. Popped up towards the front of the net, and Estrada is there to make the stop. That shot came off the foot of Maddie Gasso for Roosevelt. Saints are able to get it out of harm's way for now. As I was saying, St. Francis had just 3 shots. One of them came from their goalkeeper, so not a whole lot of good shots. That one is a good shot for Roosevelt. They send it in and tie things up. From about 20 yards out, the goal scored by Megan Smith to make it 1-1 as that one goes into the right side of the net. All Yadira Estrada can do is turn and watch. As 1 minute and 28 seconds into the second half, the Lakers find that equalizer. Megan Smith, the junior transfer from UIC, scores for the 3rd time this year. And now here's Litzy Corona trying to give the Saints the lead back, and she does. 9 seconds after Roosevelt's goal, the Saints are back on the board. You don't see that one too often. After Roosevelt scores, St. Francis takes the kick right back and doesn't even let the Lakers touch it again before they are able to tie things up. So 2 goals here in the 47th minute. And we're right back to where we started. St. Francis has a 1-goal lead. Fighting Saints this season have not won a game in which they have allowed a goal. They're 5-1 with 5 shutouts. Now here come the Lakers trying to tie it up once again. Making a run to the edge of the box. Push to the right side. Natalie Salgado watches that one go out of bounds. We will have a corner kick here. A wild start to this second half after a very defensive first half. Serta sets it up for the corner kick. 4th corner kick of the game for the Lakers. Serta's kick to the back post, headed up into the air and over the net. Out of bounds. So finally a pause in the action here. The first minute and 40 seconds of this second half featured 2 goals. They came in less than 10 seconds. 2 goals in less than 10 seconds. St. Francis was able to reclaim their 1-goal lead. But as I was saying before, and never really got a chance to finish at this point, which almost seems irrelevant now, after so much has happened since then. But the halftime stats really looked to be in Roosevelt's favor. They outshot the Saints by 5. Shots on goal were 4-2 in favor of Roosevelt. They had 3 corner kicks. St. Francis had none. So even though St. Francis had the 1-0 lead at halftime, it kind of looked on paper like Roosevelt had outplayed them, and I really don't think that was the case at all, and has not been the case. Saints have controlled possession for a much greater period of time than the Lakers have. Saints have possession right now, sending it into the box. Hernandez not able to get there in enough time, as it is cleared by the Lakers. Down along the near sideline now, excuse me. It's out of bounds for a St. Francis throw. Most of Roosevelt's shots, and the reason they've had so many of them, is because they have settled for a lot of weak attempts. Litzy Mendez is called for a foul, sending Matty Gasso to the ground. In fact, that goal that was scored by Megan Smith early in this half was maybe the first really good-looking attempt of the game for Roosevelt, in which they were able to get in close. This is from just under 20 yards out. She was able to send a good line drive to the right side of the net. Another foul is called on St. Francis here. It's the 7th foul on St. Francis, just 4 called against Roosevelt so far. So another statistical category in which the Lakers have outperformed the Saints. But on the scoreboard, it is St. Francis, and I think to any of the spectators in attendance here today, as that ball is floated out towards the net, but well over and wide to the right, and out of bounds for a goal kick. I think anybody who's been watching this game would tell you that St. Francis has earned the score that they've had up to this point. They have outperformed Roosevelt for the most part throughout this game. The Lakers have had a few bigger counting numbers in some of these stats than St. Francis has. The Saints are trying to keep this game where it is right now. They've got the 1-goal advantage. They'd like to add to it, of course. That ball sent towards the back corner, and Salgado sends it out of bounds, and that goes out along the sideline. So we'll get a throw in from the corner rather than a corner kick here as Roosevelt makes their way down the field. About 6 minutes into the second half here. Gasso gets the throw into the box. There's a shot deflected by Galvin. Mendez working to get it out of the trouble zone. Mendez turns it back towards the middle of the field. Shadowed all the way by Anahi Serta, and finally Mendez is able to get rid of it. Good play by Litzy Mendez. Now Litzy Corona tries to chase it down. Corona's got an opportunity here, but a little bit too far out in front of her. Couldn't quite catch up as Aguanaga Hernandez cleared it away from the goalkeeper's position for Roosevelt. Again ahead to Corona, this time though she's offsides. And a free kick is coming up for Roosevelt. Litzy Corona is second in the nation entering play today in shots taken, with 49 of them. An average of more than 8 shots per game all by herself. But was not able to take a single shot in the first half. And finally got one off in the 47th minute today. It was not just her first shot on goal, and it went into the goal. So her 10th goal of the season. In her 7th game played, she's already got 10 goals. This one, if this score were to hold, would go down as the game winner. She does have 2 game-winning goals already this season, but there's a long way left in this one. Nearly 38 minutes still on the clock. Good deflection there by Kelly Piotrowski as she knocks the ball away from Paulo Macias. Claudia Hernandez working against Macias now, but Macias wins this ball. Passed off to her left, back into the middle of the field. Macias rolls it to the right side. Natalie Salgado steps in defensively. Salgado knocks it away. Saints not yet able to clear it. Roosevelt continues to work their way forward. And now finally the Saints are able to stop the progression. Macias takes it away again. Or rather, Serta that time able to take it away. There's a deflection from Allison Shar, right back to the Lakers. Roosevelt, probably the longest time they've held onto the ball for the whole game, but now it's lost as the ball goes out of bounds. And we've got a throw in here for St. Francis. Into Mariquin, off of her chest and knocked away out of bounds. Last touch by the Fighting Saints. Roosevelt throw in. Tossed into the box. Hernandez heads it right back to the sideline. Out for another throw. Ashley Walker back into the game for Roosevelt here. She trots on down the sideline. Walker's going to get the throw for the Lakers here. She takes the quick step up and lobs it into the box, headed towards the back line, and this time out of bounds off of Roosevelt, or off of St. Francis rather. It's Roosevelt's corner kick. So another corner for Roosevelt. Their 5th of the afternoon. They've not been able to turn any of the previous 4 into goals. And now Serta will try to change that right here as she looks to tie the game up. Serta sends it in front of the net. Knocked away by St. Francis. Roosevelt trying to track it down in the corner. And Ashley Capetillo can't get there. It's out of bounds. St. Francis gets to throw it in, and they get a chance to clear it here as they push the ball back close to midfield. Roosevelt intercepts, and the Lakers are on the move once again. Roosevelt's done a much better job here in the second half than they did in the first of holding on to possessions. About 10 minutes into the second half now. So just because they've sustained possessions has not meant they've been able to turn those possessions into good scoring chances. There's a shot, and Estrada plays it on one bounce. That shot coming in from Gabby Christides. And that's what we saw a lot of early in the game. Instead of trying to work their way closer, they've just settled for long-range shots. They haven't really gone anywhere. The only goal that they've scored came on one of the rare occasions they got to take a shot from close. Here's Mariquin. Mariquin looking for Corona. Taps it ahead to Litzy Corona. Corona battling for position. There's the cross, and it's intercepted. Good defense by Roosevelt. Salgado works to get the ball back for St. Francis. Salgado working against Christides. And they play on as Christides falls to the ground. Here comes Alexis Mariquin. Mariquin sends it in front of the net, deflected by the Roosevelt defense and picked up by Aguinaga Hernandez. Christides finally up and back in the play, and still wondering why no foul was called as she got tangled up with Mendez and got thrown to the ground. But the referee, Michael Kennedy, told them to play on. They did. Christides slow to get up, but she's back in the action now. Yadira Estrada steps up. One touch. Sent back to Estrada. She knocks it away and sent out of bounds by Giallo. I'm not sure Estrada played that one as well as she could have. She stepped up to the edge of the box instead of picking the ball up. Gave a weak kick on it and right back to Roosevelt. So an open net, but the shot was saved by Estrada from about 15 yards out of the net. So a nice recovery from Estrada. And then a nice recovery as well from Grace Giallo, who was finally able to stop that threat by knocking it out of bounds. A new threat, though, mounts now on the corner kick from Serta. Far side now. 6th corner kick of the game for Roosevelt. This one goes to the back post and sails over everybody's head, eventually rolling out the back end on the opposite side of the field. This time it'll be a goal kick for the Fighting Saints. Mariquin watches that one bounce out the sideline. Last touch by Roosevelt. The throw in for St. Francis. Here's Corona. Corona can't catch up to that ball. Zilka knocks it down the field. Here's Salgado. Salgado dribbles it right along the sideline. Could not walk the tightrope there. Back and forth around midfield. Chased down defensively by Marubeni Nieto. This is Silka at the middle of the field. Back to the circle, and it is controlled by Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez out to Litzy Mendez. Mendez ahead for Corona. Litzy Corona works her way into the middle of the field. Taps it off to the side for Mariquin, and a little too hot for Mariquin. She's not able to save it from going out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for the Lakers. 2-1, St. Francis has the lead. They led 1-0 at halftime. Thanks to Allison Schar's 29th minute goal. It was 1-0 for nearly 20 minutes of game time. And then the score changed rapidly. Roosevelt came up with the equalizer in the 47th minute, and then 9 seconds later, St. Francis reclaimed the lead on Litzy Corona's 10th goal of the season. Corona would be in good position to get another one right here. She was offsides, though. So that whole long run is negated. And a free kick coming up for Roosevelt. Just about a half hour to play still in this game. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Busy day of action here on a beautiful early fall day in Joliet. No football today. The St. Francis football team was on the road out in Michigan, taking on Siena Heights. So that opened the field here. There's a shot. Knocked down on one hop by Yadira Estrada. Stumbled a little bit in trying to pick it up, but no extra pressure from the Roosevelt attack. So she's able to get rid of it. Salgado tripped up on her way to that ball. Finally does get there, though, ahead to Mariquin, but cleared by Marubeni Nieto. Chipped downfield. Zilka hits it up into the air. Headed back to midfield. Allison Schar is there. Schar off to the sideline. Here comes Litzy Mendez. Mendez taps it off to Allison Schar on the right side. Schar down to the corner looking for the cross. There's Corona. Litzy Corona, one touch, and it goes wide of the net towards the sideline. Still in play. Alexis Mariquin keeps it alive for the Fighting Saints. Here's Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez down to the corner. Poked away from her from behind by Macias and out of bounds. So the Fighting Saints will get a corner kick here. This is their first of the game. Let's see, Mendez is going to take it. Roosevelt has already had 6 corners. First chance for the Fighting Saints. And Mendez's corner kick is immediately intercepted, knocked away, sent back into the box by St. Francis. Piotrowski can't get a grip on it. Salgado steps back up for St. Francis, but cleared by Roosevelt. Down along the sideline, long run, and it goes out of bounds on the Roosevelt sideline. Ashley Capetillo, nearest to that ball for the Lakers, was not able to save it. So Natalie Salgado will toss it in. Salgado into Corona. Now Litzy Corona's in good position. She gets by Nieto. But coming in from the back end, Silka is able to make the stop on her. Good play by Julie Silka after Litzy Corona did a very good job of initially getting by Marubeni Nieto. Here comes Paula Macias. Macias dribbles down the middle of the field ahead to Megan Smith. Smith taps it back to the middle. And it is taken away. Here's Salgado for the Saints. Hernandez takes it straight out. Good ball work by Capetillo, working her way back in the middle of the field, but her pass is a little bit wide of Christitas. And the Saints are able to take it away. Now here comes Litzy Mendez. Mendez starts the run ahead to Mariquin. Alexis Mariquin down to the corner looking for the cross. Sent in front of the net, deflected, and pushed out of bounds by Roosevelt. Good defense by the Lakers. I believe that was Marabeni Nieto who was able to kick that ball out of bounds. Get it along the sideline, not the back line. Azuri Sanchez is back in for St. Francis. We saw Sanchez briefly in the first half as Allison Shar takes a seat. Mariquin deflected out of bounds. Ashley Walker knocks that ball out, setting things up again for the Saints. Corona in the middle of the field past Hernandez, and nobody there on the back end to play it. Here's a good steal by Natalie Salgado. Now Salgado fights with Macias down the field. Macias and Salgado run into each other, and Salgado is fouled by Macias as she gives her a hip bump towards the ground. And we got a free kick coming up here for the Fighting Saints in a dangerous spot on the field. Oh, 14 yards out, just to the left of the box. Litzy Mendez has it set up. The rest of the offense plays to the back post. Two defenders are in front of Mendez, 10 yards downfield. There's the whistle, and Mendez will take the kick. Right in front of the net, Piotrowski can't tap it in. That's what they were looking for. Piotrowski keeps it alive, right back to Mendez. Mendez trying to get around Gabby Christidis. Good defense. Good job by Mendez to keep it alive. Here's a roll over to Salgado. Salgado in front of the net. Knocked away. Mariquin steps up. She tries to get a shot off, but deflected away again by the Roosevelt defense, and the Lakers are coming the other way with it. Great defense by Roosevelt. Now trying to turn it into good offense as well. Megan Smith chases all the way down to the corner. Smith working against Galvin. Puts it in the center, and there's nobody there in black. Yadira Estrada is able to make an easy stop. So a lot of action going both ways there. The Saints had a couple of chances, but well defended all the way around by Roosevelt, and St. Francis was not able to get a good shot off. Quickly back the other way. Roosevelt didn't get enough of their defense converted into offense fast enough. Megan Smith was stopped as her cross went unanswered. So now it's the Fighting Saints again on the move. And this ball into the box is a little bit too far out in front of anybody to set up anything in the short term. Mariquin puts it in front of the net, but nobody there wearing white. And Roosevelt is able to get it off to the sideline. There's Galvin stepping up. And Emily Galvin's kick is deflected back the other way. Now a chance into the box for Roosevelt. Yadira Estrada dives and is able to slow it down and give a chance for the clearance from the St. Francis defense. Kelly Piotrowski knocks it away at the front of the net. Great defense by St. Francis right there. It looked like a 2-on-1 chance for Roosevelt. They were in good position to score. They were able to get it by Estrada, although credit to Estrada, she was able to at least get her hands on that shot, slow it down, and that allowed Piotrowski enough time to get in there and kick it away. So good work by the Saints on the defensive side, maintaining a 1-goal lead. We've seen as much action in the last 5 minutes of this game as we saw in probably the entire first half, after which the Saints led 1-0. That's out of bounds. A throw-in coming for the Lakers. We're just about halfway through this second half. We've seen 2 goals scored already since halftime. So plenty of time for more fireworks in this one as Roosevelt tries to come from behind and win their 3rd straight. St. Francis is trying to get back on the winning track after they lost for the first time this season. They lost on Wednesday at Holy Cross out in Indiana. Mariquin can't keep it in. Tossed back in play by Roosevelt. Mendez over to Claudia Hernandez, and Hernandez keeps it alive for St. Francis. Here is Hernandez. Hernandez works her way right up the middle of the field, and she's tackled off the ball, but the loose ball is chased down by the Fighting Saints. Hernandez in front to Corona. Corona stays on sides, but she is worked off the ball towards the back line and kept inbounds for the moment by Roosevelt, sent out along the sideline. Substitution here for St. Francis as Lauren Pekulski comes back in. That ball sent over the net, out of bounds. And so it's a goal kick coming up for Roosevelt. Saw a lot of these in the first half as St. Francis had the ball in the attacking side of the field for the majority of the half. Although they weren't able to get too many good shots off, they did have the 1-goal lead. But they kept possession on their side. The wind was at their backs. They're going into the wind here in the second half. I don't know if that's had an impact on the way that Roosevelt has played. They have been able to sustain a lot more attacks so far in the second half. The Lakers have generated a lot more good opportunities. They had 8 shots in the first half, a pretty good number. But legitimate scoring opportunities have been way up here in the second half, really for both teams. But the goalkeepers have done their jobs. Yadira Estrada for the Saints. Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez for the Lakers. Out of bounds on the Saints this time, and Roosevelt will get a throw in. They'll make a substitution as well. Abigail Arriaga is back out there. Arriaga played very briefly in the first half, and she gets some action here in the second as Anahi Serta checks out for the time being. 20 minutes to play in this game. The ball popped up into the air, tracked down towards the sideline, kept in play by Roosevelt. Good work by Litzy Mendez initially trying to take that ball away, but she loses it on the second effort. Good run here for the Lakers. To the near side. There's the cross. A shot by Smith, deflected by Piotrowski, and cleared by the Saints. Bounces out across midfield where it's played by Nieto. Corona working against Julie Silka. And Silka was the last one to touch it. It's Corona against Silka again here, and this time Julie Silka wins the battle. Knocked ahead, and the Lakers are making their way downfield. This is Arriaga. Arriaga's ball too far out in front of her teammates and scooped up on the roll by Yadira Estrada. Estrada's punt drifts well beyond midfield, headed back by Silka and right to Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. So that one was deflected by the Roosevelt defense, but it's the second time today that Yadira Estrada on a punt has made it all the way back to the opposite goal. Credited with a shot earlier in the game. That was her first of the year. Here's a shot for Christides right at Estrada. That shot from more than 40 yards out. And an easy play for Estrada, who has been able to beef up her saves totals today. She's made a couple of good ones, but by and large they've been pretty routine plays for her on balls that have been kicked from a long way out and right to her. Here's Corona taking a shot, and a good save by Aguinaga Hernandez, deflecting it out of bounds. The Saints will get a corner kick here. Good shot from Corona, good save by Aguinaga Hernandez. And Allison Shaw, after a short breather, is back in the game for the Fighting Saints. Litzy Corona, the junior forward, gets the corner kick. Sends it in front of the net. Deflected in front and cleared by Roosevelt. We've got a whistle as well, so I think a foul called against St. Francis here. Roosevelt was on the move anyway. They'll get a chance, though, to clear this one for free. Forces St. Francis's defense all the way back. Kick is into the midfield circle, deflected to the right for Roosevelt. Headed back by Piotrowski. Christidis sends it towards the sideline, and Salgado watches it go out of bounds. Claire Asmus is back in for Roosevelt, and Alexis Mariquin comes back in for St. Francis. Mariquin immediately gets the throw in. Roosevelt takes it away. Pekalski, Mariquin trying to combine on the stop here. They're not able to get it. Lola Areola is finally forced off the ball. She had it for a while. Nieto gets it back for the Lakers. Nieto works her way into the box. There's a cross deflected. Back to Nieto. Her shot is saved by Estrada. Off the rebound, not a lot on that shot, and Yadira Estrada able to play it on one hop. The Lakers continue to keep that pressure on, though, trying to tie this game up at 2. Saints look to not quite put it away yet at this stage, but go a long way towards achieving that with a goal here that would make it a 2-score game. Out of bounds at midfield, a throw in for Roosevelt. Cleared by Piotrowski down the sideline, headed back by Megan Smith. And the ball hit out into no man's land. Aguinaga Hernandez will step up. And as she waits for the ball to come back to her, she scoops it as soon as it reaches the box.
This is the hottest I've ever seen a laptop kit, and it's
At midfield, Allison Shar sends it back towards Aguinaga Hernandez again. Again, she's waiting back all by herself and just picks it up.
on the laptop style. It's a 7-8
There's one bounce across midfield. Mariquin hits it back towards her defense. Physical play at midfield. No calls. Roosevelt wins possession. Ball deflected back by St. Francis. Claire Asmus hit the ground there. No foul was called on St. Francis, so the Fighting Saints are in control of the ball on the far side of the field. Taken away. Good challenge by the Lakers. There's Lauren Pekalski, but a whistle away from the ball. On the far side of the field, we had a foul against the Fighting Saints. Just under 14 minutes to play here. Saints lead it by a goal. They've led for the majority of the game now. They scored their first goal in the 29th minute. Roosevelt did tie things up, but it was tied for less than 10 seconds the second time around as that free kick sent into the box on the deflection. Yadira Estrada can't quite reach it, and we're tied at 2. I think that was Areola who got her foot on it last. It was a bit of a scrum in front of the net. The ball just deflected in a couple different directions, and finally Areola was able to roll it into the back corner on the right side. Estrada made a diving effort for it and just out of her reach. A lunging effort from Yadira Estrada that ties the score 2-2. With just over 13 minutes to play. So a half hour after their first goal, Roosevelt gets their second. So we have been tied now 0-0 for the first 29 minutes. Now 1-1 for all of 9 seconds, and now at 2-2, we'll see if St. Francis can pull off something similar last time. They've already gone way longer than last time before answering, but you wouldn't expect them to score that quickly again. They would like another one within the next few minutes, though, to put themselves back on top. Pekalski gets the throw in along the sideline. Pekalski pushes it ahead towards Corona, a little bit past Corona. I think Corona thought that one was going out of bounds, so a little bit slow to react, but she jumps in and deflects it off of Maribeni Nieto out of bounds. Here's Pekalski. Back towards Corona, the pass coming from Azuri Sanchez. and a little bit too much heat on it from Sanchez. Ashley Capetillo back in there for Roosevelt. Now looking to move ahead and take the lead for the first time, if not send it into overtime. Towards the sideline, Alexis Mariquin. Ahead for Litzy Corona. Corona turns, looks for Pekalski. Didn't get her the first time, tried it a second time. And this time it's knocked away by Nieto. Nieto along the sideline, keeps it in, but deflects it off of Claire Asmus out of bounds. So the Saints throw it back in, but this deflects off the knees of Pekalski and out of bounds. High arcing throw in off the right foot of Areola. Pekalski works to take it away. Instead it's Mariquin who comes up with the interception. Claudia Hernandez to the far side of the field. Here comes Salgado. Natalie Salgado's pass is knocked out of bounds. Knocked out by Megan Smith. Or last touched by the Saints, actually. Another throw in here for Roosevelt. Allison Shaw keeps it alive over to Salgado, but a foul is called. Foul on Roosevelt. Just over 10 minutes to play in this tie game. 2-2. We've got the men's action coming up next. St. Francis against Roosevelt. A couple of hot teams going head-to-head in that game, just like in this one. As the Saints men's side is coming off of back-to-back positive decisions. That one's scheduled to begin a half hour after this one ends, but at this point, who knows when that will be. We do have the potential of overtime now staring us down as Roosevelt has tied the score at 2. St. Francis gets a free kick here. This from 40 yards out off towards the right sideline. Kelly Piotrowski looks to push this ball into the box. She does, right down the middle of the field, headed away by Smith. And Alexis Mariquin gets it back for the Fighting Saints. Mariquin's ball into the box, out of the reach of any white shirts. Saints come up empty. Gabby Aguanaga Hernandez punts it off. Here is Areola over to the middle of the field. Claudia Hernandez takes it away. Hernandez to the far outside. Salgado down the field for Azuri Sanchez, and Sanchez can't get there. Litzy Mendez is coming back in for the Fighting Saints. Paula Macias back on the field for Roosevelt. 2-2, we're tied in the final minutes of regulation here. Saints have led this game twice, and both times Roosevelt has been able to come back and tie it. Now, who's got the game winner up their sleeves? It's Piotrowski passing to her left, coming to the near side of the field. This is Litzy Mendez. Mendez turns it upfield. Mendez gets by a defender. Now ahead looking for Corona to the back side of her. It wasn't there. And Smith knocks it to the sideline out of bounds. Here's Mariquin. To Corona. Back to Mariquin. She's got some space to set something up, but nothing in front of her. Her pass is intercepted. Macias works it ahead to Capetillo, and now Roosevelt on the counterattack. Here's Christitis, deflected away by Natalie Salgado. Good defense by Salgado. Back to the foot of Mendez. Over to Mariquin. Mariquin chips it downfield. Long run Corona. Can Corona get there on time? She cannot. Sliding play by Aguanaga Hernandez. She comes up with a stop from the net. We remain tied 2-2. Ever since that Roosevelt goal, St. Francis has amped up their pressure. But now Roosevelt's got a chance, moving from left to right. Towards the sideline, kept in bounds. There's a ball into the box, a shot from Roosevelt, deflected and now finally picked up on the second chance by Estrada. Salgado tosses it in. Sent back out of bounds. Now we have got a whistle with about 6.5 minutes to play. Clock stops at 6:35. And a quick conversation between officials Michael Kennedy and Russ Dozak. I think the question was whether or not the line judge had put up his flag on that last attack from Roosevelt. We'll see what verdict they come to. Looks like we're just going to play on. And St. Francis is going to get the throw in from the sideline right back to where we were. Deflected out of bounds. Another throw in for the Fighting Saints. Clock running once again, under 6.5 minutes. Tossed in over everybody's head. Deflected back to St. Francis, but cleared by Roosevelt. Back across midfield. Emily Galvin waits back on it. Galvin heads that ball right back to the Lakers, and a chance for Roosevelt as there's a player down in the middle of the field. A foul is called on the Fighting Saints. Free kick for Roosevelt. This from dead center, 40 yards out. It is Megan Smith taking the kick. Smith puts it on net and it's punched away by Estrada. On the rebound, Allison Shar sends it downfield looking for Corona. Long run for Corona, and Corona is able to get there. Now it's one-on-one with the keeper. Corona takes the shot and scores. 5:25 to go in the game. St. Francis leads once again. It's 3-2. And that all coming off of the free kick for Roosevelt. It was punched away by Estrada. And St. Francis very quickly went the other way, end to end. Litzy Corona scores her second goal of the game, her 11th of the season. In the 85th minute, St. Francis back on top. Third time today they've had the lead. This time they only need to protect it for about 5 more minutes. We'll see if they can lock this one down at 3-2. Roosevelt has the throw in from the near sideline. There seems to be confusion, I think, about whether or not there's a substitution. Claire Asmus is coming in, so the substitution is settled. But the clock continues to run. Roosevelt can't afford to eat up too much more time here. They've got just 4.5 minutes to try to tie this thing at 3 as that shot from Capetillo sails over the net and out of bounds. St. Francis trying to improve to 3-1 in conference games. And they're in good position to do so right now with that 1-goal lead. On the goal kicks, they've got an opportunity here. Any dead ball, just take their time, eat up a few extra seconds here and there. Yadira Estrada does that before sending this one away. It was Estrada's save on that free kick that indirectly at least led to the goal scoring for the Fighting Saints. Just a quick attack the other way, and Corona used her speed, flew by the defense, and just had that one-on-one battle against Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. She beat her and was able to score her 11th goal this season. 25 points in 7 games for Litzy Corona. Rolled to the right side. Pekulski. Pekulski's cross doesn't quite reach Corona. Cleared by Roosevelt. The Lakers down along the sideline now. Foul is called on Natalie Salgado. Free kick set up by Smith. Smith straight down the center of the field, deflected into the box. Now chased back towards the back line. Grace Giallo lets that one go. And a goal kick coming up for St. Francis. Goal kick towards the sideline. Corona tries to keep it in bounds, is not able to do so. Toss in coming up for Roosevelt as it's lobbed in towards the back line of St. Francis. Piotrowski sends it right back where it came from. Back out for another throw in. Just over 2 minutes to play in this game. St. Francis, for the third time today, has a 1-goal lead. They were up 1-0. That lead lasted a while. They were up 2-1. That one lasted a while too. But both times Roosevelt was able to come back and tie it. Now they're trying to come back and tie it at 3 as that shot sails over the net once again. Another goal kick for St. Francis. This 3-2 lead has not lasted too long, just about 3.5 minutes so far. But it doesn't have to last very much longer. The Saints are on the verge of their 6th win in 7 games against a very good Roosevelt team. Made up primarily of Robert Morris holdovers. Robert Morris consistently, prior to becoming absorbed by Roosevelt last year, was among the top teams in the CCAC. Gabby Christidis is all right. Lying on the ground for a while, and I think she was just holding her position as the clock stopped at 1:35. Training staff came out to look at her, but she was okay. They did stop the clock for the injury. There really was no injury. And so Christidis is unhappy. I think she was given a yellow card for milking it, I guess. Just a bad time of the game for the official. Anytime you see somebody go down like that, you can't afford to let the clock run down. So he made sure to stop play right away and stop the clock at 1:35. And now we are back in action. Mariquin takes it away from Nieto. And now the Saints try to put it away as Mariquin sends it off to Corona. Pekulski comes in from the back end. Not able to get a shot off. But Roosevelt not quite able to get out of their defensive zone. Now they are. Nice job by Areola. Sends it ahead for Macias. Taking it into Piotrowski. Gets by Piotrowski. But Galvin steps up and clears it with less than a minute to go. Long range shot from Gabby Christidis. And Estrada just jumps out of the way and lets that ball go out of bounds well wide of the net. But I don't know if Estrada touched it. Somebody touched it for St. Francis because we do have a corner kick here. And this will likely be the last chance of the game for Roosevelt with just 40 seconds remaining. They'll get an opportunity to score on this corner kick. If the Saints are able to clear it, it'll likely be game over. The kick comes in front of the net, headed up towards the crossbar and over, out of bounds for a goal kick, and that should do it. With the clock down to 24 seconds, St. Francis can take their time on the goal kick here. And once they get it across midfield, Roosevelt will probably be out of time to get it back down again. So it appears that St. Francis will come away with this 3-2 victory. One last chance for Roosevelt on that corner kick. Did not go their way. And now they won't have enough time to get another shot off. So St. Francis comes away victorious, 3-2. Our final count in this one as they score the game winner with just 5 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the game. Coming off of a free kick from Roosevelt. Yadira Estrada punched it away. And the Saints were able to get a quick counterattack going. Pushed ahead to Litzy Corona, and Corona was able to push it past Gabby Aguanaga Hernandez for her second goal of the game and the game winner that made it 3-2 in favor of St. Francis. The scoring started back in the first half after a great defensive start to this one. It was 0-0 for about a half hour. In the 29th minute, Allison Shar was able to score her 5th goal of the season to make it 1-0. And it was 1-0 at halftime. A lot more action in the second half, and not just in terms of the number of goals that were scored. There was just action going back and forth the whole way. A lot of shots, a lot of chances, but certainly in terms of the scoring as well. It started with Megan Smith in the 47th minute tying the game up at 1. The Saints were able to respond in less than 10 seconds, 9 seconds exactly on the clock after Smith's game-tying goal. Corona scored for the first time today and made it 2-1 St. Francis, and for a long time it looked like that might be the final game winner. But a half hour after that goal scored, Lola Areola was able to put one in the 77th minute. Areola scored her second goal of the season to tie it up at 2, and looked like maybe overtime would be in the cards, but Corona didn't want to stick around any longer than she had to. So in the 85th minute, she went on that great run, scored the final goal, and made it 3-2 St. Francis. That win improves their overall record this season to 6-1. They are now 3-1 in CCAC play, and they're able to rebound after taking their first loss of the season earlier this week. Roosevelt falls to 2-2 in conference play. They are now 5-4 overall. And it was a good one here. Game 1 of our doubleheader. We can only hope Game 2 is just as good. We'll have St. Francis versus Roosevelt Part 2. The men's teams go head-to-head in just about a half hour, so make sure you come back for that one. But that'll do it for this broadcast. The Saints defeat the Lakers by the final score of 3-2. And until our men's game starts in just about a half hour, we'll step aside here. Terry Bonadonna signing off for the moment for St. Francis, but I'll be back soon as the Saints defeat the Lakers 3-2 here on the USF Sports Network.